Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something we all go through, but maybe don't talk about enough. That awful replaying loop in our heads after we've messed something up. Yeah, you know the one. Let's break down why that even happens, and way more importantly, how we can actually turn those moments into a source of strength.
So let's just get right to it. Why is it that you can have this amazing win, this huge achievement, and the feeling just evaporates? But then you make one tiny, embarrassing mistake, and that thing can live rent-free in your head for days or weeks or, let's be honest, sometimes years. It's a crazy loop we all get stuck in.
And I think this quote really gets to the heart of it. It suggests that the mistake itself isn't the real problem. The problem is the fear that comes after. It's about finding the courage to get back up and try again, even when we feel like we're not good enough. So let's figure out how we get so stuck in the first place. All right, first up, we've got to understand how our own minds kind of warp reality. We're going to look at this tendency we have to not just see our flaws, but to blow them up way, way out of proportion. Okay, imagine this. Your entire self, your work for the day, your personality, everything is like a giant solid wall. And when you make a mistake, it's just one tiny little crack in that wall. But what do? We grab the biggest, brightest spotlight we can find, and we point it directly at that one little crack until it's the only thing anyone can see. Or at least that's what we think everyone sees. The rest of the wall, all the good stuff, it just fades away into the dark.
So why does our brain love shining that spotlight so much? Well, it turns out it's not just you being hard on yourself or having a bad habit. There are some very real, physical reasons why we get stuck dwelling on our mistakes. And you know, the reasons are actually pretty down to earth. It often boils down to one of three things. You're either just mentally exhausted, you're trying to do way too many things at once, or you're literally just sick or feeling run down. When your personal battery is low, your ability to see things clearly just goes right out the window.
And this is what's so maddening, right? You can feel it happening in real time. You know something's off. You know you're making a mistake, but your brain is just so fried, so completely overstretched that you feel like you can't even pull the brakes. It's this awful feeling of being totally aware but completely helpless at the same time.
And that state of mind, man, it's a tough place to be. Let's talk about what it actually feels like when you're in the thick of it, when you're buried under all that self-criticism and just trying to get by.
You know this feeling. You're physically there. You're at your desk. You're at the dinner table with your family, but you're not really there. Your mind is a million miles away, just replaying that one moment over and over and over again. You're totally disconnected.
And on top of that, you start to feel like you have no control. It feels like you're hustling, you're working so hard, but for some reason, the mistakes just keep on happening. It creates this vicious cycle where the tighter you try to grip the steering wheel, the more it feels like you're skidding out.
And really, when it comes down to it, it's about this feeling. It's not about doing great work or being on top of your game. It becomes about pure survival. You're just trying to crawl through this mental mess, hoping you can make it to the other side. So, how do we actually do that?
Okay, so the good news is there is a way out of this. And it's not about becoming perfect and never making mistakes again, because let's be real, that's impossible. It's about building up the resilience to accept them and finally let them go.
And here's where it gets kind of weird, but in a good way. The very first step to being kinder to yourself actually starts with looking at other people. When you see someone you respect, a smart, competent person, make a mistake, something in your brain just clicks. It normalizes it, and it helps you build empathy, not just for them, but for yourself too.
So this breaks it down into a really simple process. It's a flow. First, you just see it in other people. You see that being imperfect is a shared human thing. From there, you build real empathy. That empathy then gives you the permission you need to mentally accept your own mistake, not as some deep character flaw, but just as an event that happened. And once you truly accept it, you can finally move on.
And hey, sometimes you just got to get out of your own head, literally. To break that cycle of negative thoughts, a physical outlet can be an absolute game changer. Go for a run, hit the gym, do anything that gets your body moving and forces your brain to focus on something else. It's an incredible way to hit the reset button.
Okay, so for this last section, let's zoom all the way out. We've talked about the what, the why, and the how of dealing with mistakes, but now let's try to completely redefine what these failures even mean in the big picture.
Let's just have a moment of real talk here. That typo you're stressing about, that awkward thing you said in a meeting, the mistake you are losing sleep over right now, in the grand scheme of your life, of your career, it's nothing. It's a blip. It feels massive under that spotlight we put on it, but trust me, with a little time, it's gonna fade.
And this is the ultimate goal. This is the transformation we're aiming for. It's not about trying to forget our failures, it's about using them. Every single mistake is a chance to become more empathetic, more understanding. Your failures aren't weaknesses. They're the raw material you use to build yourself into a better, more compassionate person.
So I'll leave you with this. We started this whole conversation with that image of a mistake being a crack in an otherwise perfect wall. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if those screw-ups, those moments of imperfection, aren't signs that we're broken? What if they are the messy, uncomfortable, but absolutely essential foundation that we are building a stronger, wiser, and more resilient life on top of?